So without further ado, I'll pass things over to Colin to get us started.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for joining everybody, and welcome to our SWOOD 2021 launch webinar. As Sarah mentioned, on the line on the CAD Micro side, Harpreet and myself, Colin Johnson, Director of Western Canada. On a personal note, I'd like to note that CAD Micro has recently expanded into Western Canada. We have offices in Calgary and Vancouver now, so we've established a truly unique coast-to-coast company. CAD Micro offers design automation software, training, and consulting to help our customers innovate, disrupt, design, and succeed. We cover the full spectrum of Industry 4.0 technologies, including digital manufacturing, additive manufacturing, 3D scanning metrology, and AR, VR technologies. I will backtrack once just to do an introduction to Harpreet so everyone can see who he is when he talks briefly. So again, I'll just end this surmise the slide one more time. We do offer end-to-end digital transformation support for your whole product development cycle. CAD Micro was founded in 1983. We're a privately owned company, owned and operated out of Canada. You can see our growth over the recent years. This has been enabled by continually expanding our product offering through a variety of Industry 4.0 technologies. We're headquartered in Toronto, of course. We currently have 55 or so employees, and we are growing. So today, I'll briefly speak about SWOOD, a quick overview, do a bit of a qualitative value proposition, outline some of the key features of SWOOD and how it can help product development. And of course, Harpreet will be doing a demonstration of cabinet design. So SWOOD is one solution contained of 5 products. Today, we're going to be talking about SWOOD Design, which features custom libraries, woodworking features, and a unique methodology. Really, that comes down to the drag and drop functionality of SWOOD. SWOOD CAM and SWOOD CAM nesting help with CAD design and digital manufacturing. It's all tied together by custom reporting. This custom reporting has data organization. It can create custom automated reports and has some advanced communication tools. SWOOD Center can automate creation of various assemblies. Example, creating many derived SKUs from independent SKU. SWOOD Building is it's used to create construction-related woodwork for buildings or other construction uses. With SWOOD, you can use your library of reusable assemblies to fill your projects using drag and drop functionality. This is, of course, includes drawers, doors, shelving partition, and connectors, such as dowels. The real difference with SWOOD is the intelligence. So with SWOOD, programmable assemblies can be reused and reconfigured as you need. All parts and assemblies include stock information and automatically adds connectors, as we said, such as dowels. Within SWOOD, you can manage material properties efficiently, whether in the assembly or parts. And this includes part thickness, decor or grain direction, edge bending, and laminates. Without further ado, we'll get right into the demonstration and Harpreet through.
Thank you, Colin. And now to demonstrate the power of SWOOD, I will take you through the steps of creating 2 different cabinets, and then we'll put them together in a larger assembly and finally create the report out of it. Now, when I use the words such as creating cabinet, we are going to create a production-ready cabinet. So to do that, first I'm going to go under my SWOOD add-in that is running on the right-hand side of my SOLIDWORKS. And I'm going to go under launch events here, and I'm going to create under this folder a new SWOOD frame, and I'm going to call it hinge cabinet. And then I'm going to right click on it, edit this one, and now it's ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding my panels. I'm going to say create new panel, and I'm going to add one on the left and add a cable on the right, and then I'm going to add a cable on here, and I'm going to add it such that it's coincident and butt it against that one this way. So now once this is done, I'm going to also add a panel at the bottom as well. So I'm going to go here like that, and I'm going to add a mate around here, and I'm going to lift it up a little bit and apply all the coincident mates. And I'm going to change this one to distance mate, and let's apply a distance of about 100 millimeters to the other side, and our panels have been placed in position. So once the panels have been placed in position, the next thing I'm going to try to do is I'll add my other my panel at the back. So that is going to be found under my SWOOD box. This is my library component that I'm going to find it under training, supplement, grooved, and group back. And then I'm just going to wrong place, but I can always edit it. I'm going to go here, edit feature, and I'm just going to say this is the left, this is the right. I think it's getting too much. So since it's very easy to do it, I'm just going to delete it, and I'm going to add it again. Just going to go ahead and drag and drop like that. And my group back gets added. So the beauty of this panel is that it's an automatically generated panel that I added from one of my other libraries that I had previously worked with. And the beauty of this is when I hide one of these panels, then it has automatically generated a machining operation on it. So that's one of the beauties of this panel. And right now it's going all the way through. If I want, I can always change it too, but I'm going to keep it as is for now. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the front here, front panel. So to do that, I'm going to go under fronts here, single. I'm going to do a single overlay. And then just like that, I'm going to drag and drop on top of it like we did before. Now that it has been dragged and dropped and everything is in place, so now that I have applied all my panels in the space where I was supposed to, next thing what I would do is I can apply all the edge bands. So to do that, I'm going to go under Manage Project Materials. I'm going to go under my Edgebands library, and I'm going to choose generic EB 2 millimeters. Let's go with ignore. So what this is going to do is it's going to add my component here and also generate a bit of add another separate body on top of it. So I'm just going to choose all my faces like that. And one at the bottom. So this one is looking good. And then I will also do it for my gables as well. So gable on the right here and one here. And I think I'll do it on the top as well. And similarly, I'll do one here and also add one to the side, one to the top. So as I'm selecting all these faces, it's automatically applying these edges, and think this is another one that I would apply to. And similarly, I'm going to apply another one over here. All right, so all of these edge bands have been applied. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to apply the materials as well. So I'm going to go here under Materials Library, and let me go under Project here, and I'm going to choose my 11 inches, 11 by 16 inches plywood, and I'm going to apply pretty much to all of these objects. So that now this is applied, I'm going to click OK. And now as you can see, everything is done. It has added all the panels and has added all my edge banding as well. So now that all of this is done, now I'm going to go ahead and add some of the hardware components. So the first thing first I'm going to do is I'm going to add my hinges. And the hinges can be found under one of my SWOOD box library. So I'll go here under hinges. And this is an existing library that SWOOD box comes with. I'll go under Toolbox and I'll select and drag and drop. And once I drag and drop, it's going to add those components. And they are going to show very shortly. There they are. And as they get added, I also have the option to place where exactly I would like to add them. And I also have the other set of information as well related to these hinges. I will keep the default values and I'll just click OK. And once this is done, I'm going to bring back my panel here and let's actually open it up separately. So just like that, how we saw that it did perform a machining operation on the other panel where we added a groove back, it has added a machining operation here as well. So all of these machining operations are built into SWOOD box that you have the ability to create them yourself. And it also adds a SWOOD box machining feature here on the side as well that helps you know that actually a machining operation was created. And you can also create a cam afterwards on it. So I'm going to close this. And I have my box here. And now next thing what you would want to do naturally is to add a handle to it as well. So I'm going to go under handles and I'm going to again access my existing library. I'm going to just select drag and drop. We may have to make some changes around here. So once this is added, this is not the orientation I would like to add it in. So I'm going to say edit feature and I'm going to add it in the right location. So first thing first, I want to choose the right face. So the front face is the correct one. And the bottom face, I don't want this to go all the way down here. I would rather have my bottom face to be somewhere around here. Okay. So it's nicely placed. And next thing is the orientation. The orientation, I want it to be vertical. And also, I want this to be not centered. So I'm going to uncheck this one. Actually, no, I would like to be centered. And then I can also choose from which side it's coming. From the right side it's coming. And I can set the size, let's say 4 inches. And I'm going to click OK. And then this is done. Now our model is almost complete. The final thing I want to do is to add the connectors. So these panels that I have put together, they're not going to just hold each other just by itself. So I'm going to have to add some connectors to it. So I'm going to, for that, I'm going to go under insert connectors between components, and it's going to highlight all the regions where the connectors can be added. So I'm going to select them one by one. So these are the ones where I'm going to add dowel pins. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead under here under feature connector. Actually, instead of dowel pins, I'll add a compound one. So I'll go under cam and dowel, click OK. And it will add a composite one instead. So it has a cam and bolt. Along with that, it has added dowel pins as well. And not only that, as I'm adding them right now, it's also going to perform all the machining operations as well. So right now it has confirmed that it has added all those components. The one at the back panel, that is essentially just piercing through it. Since it's going to be held in place, we don't necessarily need to add any connectors for that. So I'm going to click OK, and then the panels will be added. Okay, so now that the connector has been added, let me hide it for a moment, and let me just show you how the connectors are looking like. And if I hide one of my connectors, you can see that it has also performed machining operation just like it has been on the other cases as well. Okay, so now actually this model is fully complete. There is nothing else that we need to add here. So I'm just going to save it, and we're going to keep in mind that this is where we had added this cabinet. And now I'm going to close it, and we're going to create another cabinet. So this time we are going to create a drawer cabinet. In this one, we're just going to add true drawers. So I'm going to edit this just like we did before. And I'm going to create panels like we had done before. So I'm going to quickly add them. So another beauty of SWOOD is that how quickly it lets you add the panels. Just look at that. Like I have pressed just a few buttons, and just with a click of a few buttons, I have been able to add all of these panels so quickly. So now I'm going to select this one and place the right placement here for the faces. And again, this one is going to be here. press C, and it's done. Now I'm also going to add a little bit of a distance, let's say about 100 millimeters to the other side. And also keep in mind that I haven't been adding any dimensions. This is something that we will look at afterwards. We don't necessarily have to worry about it at this point. So just like we did before, I'm going to add the groove back now. So I'm going to go here under SWOOD box, and from my groove back, I'm going to drag and drop. No, not like that. I'm going to drag and drop here. And then it's going to add that groove back. So once this is done, we are going to add fronts, but this time we're not going to add one front, we're going to add multiple fronts instead. So this time what we're going to do is I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to say add multiple overlay, because this time we're adding drawers. And we're not going to be adding 6 of them, so we're going to go here, and I'm going to edit this. So instead of 6 spaces, I'm going to need just 2. And then I can also add some gap as well if I wanted to here. So right now there is no gap. I'll make it probably about 0.5 inches, something like that. Or maybe that's too much, 0.1 inch. And then gap between the faces. So right now, if you look at the faces, there's a bit of a gap between them, but we may not need this small of a gap. We may want a slightly bigger than that. So I'm going to say, hey, make this gap about 0.5 inches. So that looks a lot better already. Okay, so once this is done, I'm just going to click OK. That will add my panels. It has also brought in a lot of other reference geometry as well. So to be able to see it clearly, I'm going to click on my view here, and then I'll be able to see everything clearly. All right, so things are looking fine. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add another SWOOD box, which is going to be a drawer. So to be able to add the drawer, I'm going to go here under drawers. I'm going to go under Blue Motion, and let's choose Blue Motion C. And I'm going to drag and drop it around here. And then it's going to go ahead and bring in that existing assembly that I had in my library and add it just like it did before. So this time for the lower face, I'm going to choose this one so that we have a smaller bit around here. And I think from the sides, everything is looking fine, but let me just confirm that indeed it's choosing the sides that I want. Yeah, it is choosing the sides that I want. So now I'm going to click OK. And that drawer will be added. Let me hide it and see if the drawer is coming in as I wanted it to. So yeah, it's actually looking really good. Just the way that I wanted it to come in as. So I'm going to hide this, bring this back into position. And actually, I will hide this one and bring the other one back into position. And this time what we're going to do is going to drag and drop SWOOD box like we did before. And again, it's going to perform those operations and add the drawer. And as it's adding the drawer, we will make some edits to it as well. I can say that, hey, for the top face, I want it to be up till this point. So it's going to resize my box accordingly. I'm going to click OK. And my box has been added, as you can see. Okay, now the final piece of the puzzle, let me not save it yet. The final piece of the puzzle is we're going to add edge bands, but I'm not going to worry about edge bands as much because there are too many faces to be selected here. I'm going to, however, I am going to apply the materials here. So I'm going to go under Materials Library, and I'm going to activate Manage Project Material, and we're going to choose this 11 by 16 inches, and let me select everything here. Okay, so the materials have been applied, and let me hide everything for now to see how it looks like. It's looking very nice right now. So the final piece of puzzle now is to add the handles. So I'm going to add the handles next, once I've saved the model. I'm going to go under my handles this time in my library, and I'm going to drag and drop like we have been so far. And lucky for us, this time we do want it to be horizontal, so we are placing it in the way that exactly it needs to be. So this one gets added too, but we will need to resize it because it's going all the way down. So I need to resize my box placement from bottom till here. Okay, so that one is looking good too now. So now I want to bring up the point where I talked about that we didn't really, we are not really looking at the dimensions right now. The reason being because we have added all of these in such a way that they are connected to each other, the panels. And if I reshape anything, everything else will readjust itself. So I can go under edit frame here. And right now the size is about, the width is about 800 millimeters. And the height is about 900 millimeters. And the depth is about 500 millimeters. Let's say if I wanted to change any of them. Let's say the height is something that I want it to be about 750 millimeters. Now, as I add that, SWOOD is automatically going to resize for you everything. Now that we have this size, now what we're going to do next is we're going to bring in these components in a separate assembly. We're going to put them together and we're going to create a report. So I'm going to close this now. Okay, I'll save this. And then I'm going to create a new assembly. So let me create an inch-based assembly. And then I'm going to close this guy, go here, save, and let me save it in a already known location. Cabinet layout. First thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layout for my cabinet. So let me show my origin and I'll start with sketch, 3D sketch, and I will create something like this. And this is going to decide how my layout is going to be like. And then another one around here. Another one about here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension all of these points. So let me actually take this line first of all and make sure that it is along the Z-axis. And it's looking good. So let me apply a dimension. So the depth is about 500 millimeters. The width is about 700. Oh, not inches, but millimeters. And then the height is about 750 millimeters. So you can choose whatever height you like, but those are the values that I'm going with. And those two are along x-axis so that they have the exact same height. And these two are along the x-axis as well. And then finally, I need to give some dimension for this guy as well. And I'll give it a dimension of, let's say, about 500 or 700 millimeters. Okay, so now everything is looking good. Now the final thing we want to do is replace those cabinets that we have been working with. So I'm going to go under my folders here that we chose to create them. So I'm going to say insert copy. And as soon as I click that, then it's going to bring my SWOOD frame that I had previously generated, and it's going to ask me where exactly I would like to place them. So there it is. So now what I need to do is first I need to define where the origin is. Then it's asking me where the x-axis direction would be. So this would be the width, and the width is along here. And then it's asking me the y, where the depth is, and the depth is along here, and the z-axis along here. So let's see if it's going to come the way that we expect it to. So now I'm gonna, actually I will need to delete this. And what I can do is, this would be my Y and that would be my Z. And then it's going to place my frame as the way that I expected it to. Okay, not exactly the way I kind of expected it. So I'll need to make some changes around. Well, maybe I'll need to just delete this whole thing and add it from the beginning. I think what I need to do is I'll need to open this up and understand how exactly these are added. So I'm going to right click and edit. So the x-axis is in this direction, y is in that direction, as in Z is in this. Okay, so that's how I need to add it. So when I'm looking at it from, let me delete this first. So when I'm looking at it from here, this is going to be my X, this is going to be a Y, this is going to be my Z. So that's how it needs to be placed. I'm going to say insert copy. And that's where it goes. And this is my X, this is my Y, this is my Z. Okay, so this came in as expected, and the next one I wanted to add is my other component. So I'm gonna also make some changes to the sketch as well. Looks like this height is not enough. Maybe I'll make it about 30 inches, actually 36 inches. Now when I exit, it's also going to automatically resize the box as well. So now I'm going to add the hinge cabinet. Insert copy. Now again, just like we did before, this is going to be my point of the origin. This is my x-axis. This is going to be my y. And then finally, around here, this is going to be my Z. I'm going to click OK, and it will add that cabinet here as well. Perfect. So it added the cabinet here, just like we had before. Now you can add multiple cabinets like I have shown so far. But now what we're going to do is now we're going to go and take it to the next level. So far we have created a production ready model. So now the next thing after the production ready model would be to create a report out of it that lists all the information about these models here. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under my SWOOD design, and once my model is saved, I will perform my operation. Okay, looks like model is saved. I'm going to go under SWOOD design reporting, and then what it will do is it will create a report based on the information, all the panels, as well as all the connectors, as well as the edge bands that I have added into the system. It will also take into account of any hardware components that are to be added. So example would be things such as hinges as well as the panels. And based on all of those that I have added, it's going to process that information and create various documents based on the configuration I have defined for this. So it's going to be publishing it shortly. And there it is. And all the documents have been listed under here. So the main thing that I'm going to look at is this web report details. So when I double click on it, it opens up this web report and it shows me all the views. And then I have the panels here, and it gives me information about all the panels that are to be added. And also notice that for the ones that we were supposed to be adding the edge bands, it also has added that information too. And it also added the thickness of these edge bands. And then we have hardware. So it has included all the hardware components that are to be added. It has also included the cost here as well. Then if there was any CAM programs that we had added, it would show here as well. Then finally, we have the summary. In the summary, it's going to just summarize the information that we have looked under panels as well as the hardwares. So that would be it about my demonstration. Now I'll turn it over to Colin to answer any to continue the presentation, and then we may answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you very much. I've kept the value proposition slide up here just to remind the audience of the intelligence and the material management capabilities, but we'll get right into a question Q&A session. Back over to you there.
Awesome. Thanks, Colin, and thank you, Harpreet. That was awesome. We do have some questions here. As mentioned at the start, if you do ask us questions, you're automatically entered into the draw to win a prize. So if you do have one, just shoot it over to us. But we do have some already, so I'll go ahead and get started. The first question I have here is, how does SWOOD fit into SolidWorks?
SWOOD is like fully, it's like an add-in inside the SolidWorks. So everything that has to do with SWOOD will be, all the function will be embedded inside SolidWorks. So if you have to use any functions, you'll have to open SolidWorks to be able to use it. There's no functionality outside of it.
Awesome. Next question I have is, excuse me, can I customize reports, and can I add customized reports to pre-existing drawings?
Yes, so you can customize report as per you like. So the report that you saw before was based on a set of configuration documents that were processed in the backend. So based on the kind of report that you're looking for, we can work with you to create the report that you would like. So it's fully customizable. And then when it comes to adding pre-existing drawings to the report, that can be done as well without any issues.
Awesome. I do have two questions here for you, Harpreet, from our audience. One gentleman asked, can different handles be added as configurators, or would it be better to resave the file?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, of course. So can different handles be added as configuration? Sorry, I said that wrong. Or would it be better to resave the file?
It depends on the situation. So currently the way the library is prepared, the default library has the handles coming in as configurations. But if you have different parts, then yes, you can. There is no best practice along that line unless what is best for you. If the shape of the handles are very similar, then you would want to add them as configurations, because you have the ability to change them very easily when you add them as a SWOOD box. On the other hand, if they're completely different handle, that you would probably want to have different SWOOD boxes for that.
Great, thanks, Harpreet. Next question I have for you is, where does the content in the SWOOD library come from?
So the content that you're seeing right now, it's almost 90% of it was generated. It's a default library that SWOOD comes with, and when you buy SWOOD, then you will get that library as well. About 10% of it is something that I had generated through my experience, but this is something that we are happy to share with our customers as well.
Awesome. And so I guess that another question kind of goes with the last question is, can I create a custom part for the SWOOD library?
Yes, it can be created. So I'm assuming when you're asking the custom part, it probably has to do with a hardware component, because so far you've seen the panels, right? And the panels are custom parts, custom generated, and you can add your custom shapes to it if you like as well. Now, when it comes to hardwares, yes, that can be added as well. You can generate your own hardware, and in the back end there is a hardware folder, and if you place it in that hardware folder, then it becomes a part of your SWOOD library.
Okay, great. I do have another question here for you, Harpreet. What MRP solutions work with SWOOD?
So any MRP solution that works with SolidWorks would work with SWOOD as well. as far as I know, there isn't any limitation on it. So as long as the solution would work with SOLIDWORKS, it should work with SWOOD as well.
Awesome. Next question is, can I add stock and grain information for a SWOOD panel?
Yes, that can be easily done as well. So actually, it would be nice if I can demonstrate that. Can you hand it off to me, Shah?
Yeah, just 1 second. There you go.
Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new frame here. So I'm gonna follow a different route this time. I will create a new frame from here. And once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Let's call it stock. And then once I've created the panel, I'm going to go ahead and add my panel to it. Let me add a panel on the top here. Now once I didn't add the panel property, so let me delete this and add it again. I was just getting ahead of myself. So it needs to be fully defined. So now that it's fully defined, so now when I go ahead and click edit panel, then I see this option on the left hand side. So here, first thing first is the length direction. So here I can define which way is the stock. So if I say here, the grain direction is like 45 degrees. So that's how my panel would be defined. So this is what my stock represent, and this is what your panel is represented by. And then on top of this, if I want, I can also add the additional stock as well. So let's say if your stock was aligned with the grain, your panel was aligned with the stock, so that it's fully in line in it. You can still add extension to it. You can say that, hey, I would like to add an extension of, let's say, 5 inches here, and about 3 here, 2 here, and 2 here. And then it will add the stock offset just like that. So all the information about the stock is taken into account when you're working with it. So that's how it's done.
Awesome. Thank you, Harpreet. And I just have one final question for you. Do you offer SWOOD training?
Yes, we do. And in fact, we actually recommend users who buy SWOOD to take the SWOOD training with us. And it's, I think it's about 2 or 3 day course, depending on your familiarity with SOLIDWORKS. So yes, we do offer training.
Okay, great. So I think that's all the time we have for today. Once again, thank you to Colin and Harpreet for such a great presentation. And thank you to everyone who joined us here and spent some time of your afternoon with us. We hope to see you again. As mentioned, we have 4 sessions tomorrow, and that's the last day of our virtual conference. So be sure to check those out and keep an eye out for the survey that will be coming at the end of all of our sessions on Friday, and you can win some more prizes. So thank you, Colin, and thank you, Harpreet, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.